Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Hiva, and here on my channel I cover recent missing person cases. If you're into that type of content, go ahead and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's case. Today I want to talk about 26-year-old Katelynn Berry, who was last seen on December 21st, 2021 by her father. Katelynn is missing from Sidney, Montana, which is a small town near the North Dakota border with a population of around 6,000 people. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about Katelynn. Like I said, she's 26 years old and will be turning 27 on February 1st. She is Native American and belongs to the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa. She enjoys spending time with her family and friends, exploring, and according to her sister, she loves to read and can often be found with a book in hand. Katelynn is quite close to her family and regularly sees her father, Hank, who lives nearby. Katelynn's mother, Carmel Madison, lives a few hours away in North Dakota and serves as the Grand Forks County Assistant State Attorney, so Katelynn also has ties there. She's also close to her sister, Kristen, who she lived with in New York for a time. Before we get any further, I'm going to explain Katelynn's living arrangement, because it's kind of important as the story goes on. Katelynn lives alone in an apartment connected to her dad's workshop near County Roads 122 and 349R. I'm not sure if her father owns it, but it seems like he did some upkeep or construction on the property at times. Katelynn was unemployed at the time of her disappearance, so I believe her living expenses were covered by her father and that he gave her money weekly. I'm going to include a video so you have an idea of where Katelynn lived and the area.
The door to the apartment of Katelynn Berry, who disappeared. A look at her, where she lives, and where she might have walked.
So like I said, Katelynn was last seen on December 21st. That day, her father, Hank, brought her lunch. I believe it was McDonald's, and the two spent some time together. Before he left, he gave Katelynn a big hug because he knew he wasn't going to see her for a few days. It seems like Katelynn and her dad were really close and that the two had a great relationship. 2 days later, on December 23rd, Hank came back to Katelynn's apartment at around 8:30 a.m. He had a package for Katelynn and left it by the door, and then texted her to let her know. That day, he noticed that the gate by her apartment, which you can see in the video I included previously, was open. Right across from the gate is a field that leads to a truck stop called Town Pump. Katelynn would sometimes walk there to pick up some snacks, so he didn't think much of it. A few hours later, on that same day, at around 1 p.m., Hank returned to put up a handrail on the steps leading to Katelynn's apartment. While there, he noticed that the package that he had left outside her door earlier that morning was still outside. He knocked on Katelynn's door, but got no answer. Katelynn's apartment had one of those punch code locks, and he knew the code, so he was able to unlock the door and enter the apartment. He brought the package inside and took a quick look around, but everything seemed normal, so he left. The following day, he returned to the apartment again to finish his work on the handrail. Once again, he knocked on the door, but received no answer. He decided to enter the apartment again, but found nothing. I believe that the package that he had brought in the day prior was still there, where he had left it. The following day was Christmas. Katelynn still hadn't responded to texts or calls. I believe that her family tried to make plans with her for that day, but obviously she didn't respond. On December 26th, Hank once again returned to Katelynn's apartment. This time, he called her while inside to see if he could hear her phone ring or see it if it was still at her place. However, he didn't hear it ring while calling or see it anywhere, so he assumed the phone must have been with Katelynn. While Katelynn has gone a few days without being in touch with her family, it was odd for her to go this long without getting in touch, so they continued to call and text her. However, on the 29th, her phone started going to voicemail. 2 days after that, at 6:40 a.m. on the 31st, Hank decided to report his daughter missing. Once law enforcement got involved, they looked into cell phone records and discovered that the last known location of her phone was at her residence on December 29th. After checking her apartment, they actually found her phone in the apartment. The phone was found face down on the couch. Her coat, wallet, and other belongings were also still at the apartment. The only thing missing was her boots. If you know anything about Montana's winters, you know that they're no joke. So for her coat to be found at home is quite concerning. She also takes medication, and I believe that was also found at her apartment. When looking further into phone records, it was discovered that there were texts sent out from Katelynn's phone after her dad last saw her on December 21st. It's kind of confusing, but I believe it was determined that there was activity on the 23rd and that a text message had been sent out. I saw in some sources that there was also some activity on the 29th. However, it's not certain that it was Katelynn using the phone, especially on the 29th. Her phone has now been sent out of state for further analysis, so it seems like investigators believe that it might hold the key as to where Katelynn is or what happened. Despite the snow and cold weather, searches have been conducted by helicopter and foot with canines, but still nothing. Video footage from the gas station she regularly goes to has also been analyzed. Based on what I could find, I don't think that they spotted Katelynn on the videos initially, and they're now looking at them frame by frame with the help of other agencies. So where is Katelynn, and what could have possibly happened to her? We know that Katelynn couldn't have gotten very far on her own. She doesn't have a car, and if she went for a walk, she could have only gotten so far. Is it possible that someone picked her up while she was walking, potentially on her way to the gas station? The gas station is apparently a popular truck stop, so maybe somebody picked her up when she got there or on her way there. Based on what was found in her apartment, though, I don't think that she went out for a walk. If that was the case, I think she would have worn a jacket at the very least. Also, she usually walked to the gas station to buy snacks or other goods. But as we know, her wallet was found at home, so unless she just took cash with her, I don't think that's where she was headed. Is it possible that a friend picked Katelynn up and that she willingly left? Maybe that could explain why she left behind her coat, since she knew that she'd only need to walk to the car. However, if this is the case, why wouldn't she take her phone with her, and why hasn't she returned? Maybe she needed some time away to herself, so she had a friend pick her up and decided to leave her phone behind. While this is possible, it's less and less likely as time goes on without word from her. It also doesn't explain why her belongings were all at home, like her coat and wallet. Also, if this is the case, why hasn't the person who potentially picked her up come forward? In my opinion, it's more likely that Katelynn probably intended to be gone for a very short period of time. Most of us don't leave our phones at home unless it's going to be a short, quick trip. Maybe someone was dropping something off, so she just threw on her boots and ran outside to get it, and something potentially happened then. I've seen some sources state that Katelynn was struggling with addiction and her mental health. Maybe she got in with the wrong crowd and a scheduled meetup went wrong that night. It's also possible that something happened when Katelynn was returning home from somewhere, potentially that gas station. If she was just getting home, she may have taken off her jacket and put her phone and wallet down. This could explain why those items were found at the apartment. I know when I get home, I take off my jacket before I take off my shoes. Is it possible that she was getting home and that there was a knock at the door or someone waiting for her? As far as I know, there were no signs of a struggle, which leads me me to believe that Katelynn would have known the person. Whatever happened, someone knows something or saw something and they need to come forward. Authorities are working diligently to find her, and there are several different agencies in on this case, including the U.S. Border Patrol. Her family has offered a $25,000 reward for her safe return by her birthday on February 1st. Katelynn is 5'4" and weighs 100 pounds. She has shoulder-length brown hair. If you have any information at all, please contact the number in the description below. Let me know what you guys think about this case. I think it's so strange, so I'd love to hear your theories and opinions, but that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching and for listening to Katelynn's story, and I'll see you in the next one.